Baja just decided to run away. He refused to look back. Doc, we don't see Lagwaja again. He just flew. Is it Canada or where is it?
But I thought I saw him in a recent performance at the Motion Center.
Oh,
I think he does some shows, but
wow.
And now he produces music a lot. You know, he's originally a producer.
Yes, I know.
And then started singing and the rest. So there's Lagbaja the singer, there's Lagbaja the musician, there's Lagbaja the multi-instrumentalist, and producer and so on.
And I'm sure when he's producing, he doesn't wear the mask.
Somehow.
That means maybe I should get him to produce a song. Well, if you're wondering, you just heard the voice of Dr. Shaibu Husseini. He is a Nigerian journalist, performing artist, cultural administrator, a PR, media expert, film curator, critic, you name all of them. I'm catching my breath plenty. He holds a doctorate degree in mass communication from the University of Lagos and is somebody who's been very consistent about talking about, writing about Nollywood. For so many years he's been doing that, and he, even as far back as in 2010, right? That was when your book Movie Dog came out, to show you that he's one who's been very, very interested in the development of Nollywood. And he's been the chair of the College of Screeners and a member of jury board of African Movie Academy Awards, that's AMA Awards. You've been there since the inception.
In fact,
and he is currently the executive director, CEO of the National Film and Video Censors Board, NFVCB. Now, if they are talking about square pegs, square holes, round any kind of hole right now, you fit this position that you are currently holding because you are in a place I'll call your forte. You've followed the industry long enough to know where we're coming from and where we're going to. Let's start on a personal note. When you were given that post, when you got it, because I can boldly say I don't think you lobbied for it. When you got it, how did you feel?
In fact, I was with a group of filmmakers who were working on a documentary on the Nollywood industry, and they now made this announcement, and somebody called me and said, Shaibu Husseini, he was just screaming. So I said, what's the problem? He now said, you have not heard, there's a breaking news. So he sent me a WhatsApp message, a press release from the media aide to the president. And when I scrolled, the name I saw was Ali Nuhu. So I just screamed and I said, oh, for the first time, we have somebody in the industry who has been appointed as a chief executive. So they now say, see number 2. So I said number 2. Okay. So I now went back and now saw number 2, Dr. Shaibu Husseini. I screamed, because it wasn't something that someone was expecting or someone was looking out for, If there was going to be any appointment, I was already like a top management staff at the National Troupe of Nigeria, which is also an agency under the Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy. So I could have just been made artistic director or even general manager of the National Theatre. But probably they read my CV or something on my bio, and then they now said, hey, you have been talking film, you have been writing film. Go there now and do the talk and do the writing. So that's how I got it. But it came to me as a big surprise, but I thank the minister for the recommendation, and I also thank Mr. President for approving without knowing me.
So all the while you've been talking film, you just made that maybe they've seen you talking film all these years. What have you been talking?
Yeah, basically about the growth and development of the industry. By the time I started writing for The Guardian in 1996, I think, I was writing about dance because that time I was a dancer with the National Troupe of Nigeria, and I was writing about theater. I was criticizing plays, I'll go and watch a play and write. But German and Nikolapo, who was at the time the art editor of The Guardian, now told me, hey, Shaibu, don't write about dance. You're already a dancer. Don't write about theater. You're already a theater artist. Write about Nollywood. So I said, what about Nollywood? He said, that industry is the industry of the future. Write about them. Write about the people who are working. So we started a column called Celebrity with German. First it started with artsman. So we interviewed a lot of people who were working in front of the camera, but people who were in the professional class. Then he now said, okay, let's turn it to Celebrity. So we started Celebrity in 1998. Celebrity has moved to Movie Dome now in 2002. 2022, and I've been writing consistently till last Saturday. Consistently. There is nothing that is happening in this industry that I've not written about, that I've not commented about, and there's hardly anybody that that will not know me or I know somehow. I give you a small joke. When I went to Enugu after my appointment, my zonal coordinator took me to a festival. It was the Coast City Film Festival. And he said he wanted to take me around to introduce me to stakeholders. So as I got into the venue, I saw people like Okuzebejiro, people like Shegun Arinze. They were screaming and they were shouting, Shaibu, Igalaman.
I'm sure he was like, oh, sorry.
So he now said in Igbo, all the Kaoma, everybody. It's like he knows everyone. I mean, that's the beauty of it, really.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of people comment and actually commend Mr. President and our minister for dragging a crop of, for recruiting and appointing a crop of people who know the industry, who understand the industry, and a lot of expectation on our side, because we need to show that we know this industry, we know the problem of the industry, and we know what to do about it. Just all we need is some kind of support. From NCAC, where we have the great Obi Asika, to NFC, where we have Alinuhu, to CBAC, where we have the great Aisha Ogi, to National Troop, where we have the wonderful Kartume, and all through. I don't see anybody who is not somebody from that industry, that was appointed.
And over the years, you've written, you've talked and done things. And this bit of the story you just shared with me shows the power of mentorship.
Exactly.
I wouldn't know if Jama was your mentor in any way. Okay, good.
I have a lot of, my life is all about mentorship. Okay. Once I find somebody that, Jaman, how did I even come about writing for The Guardian? We were in Benin to celebrate the 100 years of the invasion of Benin Kingdom. We took a play, Professor Ahmed Yerima's Trials of Ovarawe. So we went to play. But me, I'm a very inquisitive person. I read, I listen. Like, maybe that's why I'm in the field of mass communication. I read. So I left my hotel. We have another show the following day. So I left my hotel to a newspaper stand to go and read like this free reader stuff. So I picked up The Guardian. I was reading. Here was German and Ikulapo standing. So he now said, he recognized me in the production and knew I was an artist of the National Troop. So he said, what do I read here? I said, I came to read the arts page. He said, who do you read in the arts page? I said, German and Nikolapo, Ben Tomoloju. I was just mentioned. He said, do you know the German and Nikolapo? I said, I don't know. He said, this is me. I said, now Benin with you. Maybe somebody will come win me. Somebody will come do me forward.
Wait,
no, sorry. I withdraw that one. I withdraw.
I don't laugh before I take
Sorry. I withdraw. But now, somebody just come meet me inside Benin. What can do me? I don't know something. So I can't say, okay, see what thing go happen. So I can't say, okay, thank you very much. You go look somebody, say, who do you? I say, thank you very much. So I left. But in the evening of that day, after we performed, he came backstage and Uncle Kule Bantefa just screamed, Jamo.
And you were like,
so I now linked, true. Jamo, not true. Now the man be this. So that's how I went to say, I'm sorry at that time. I said, no problem. But you know him as a benevolent editor.
Yes,
he just said, write me the story of your experience in the performance. I will publish it in The Guardian. I was running away. I couldn't even put words together. Then we now went to China for a tour. By the time we came from China, he ran into me and said, where is that my story now? I said, I even get another one. He said, what's the story? I said, I met Jackie Chan, the actor. I met him and they were carrying out a rally about piracy. So he said, write the story. He's always one who will tell you, write the story. I have the platform to publish. So I summed up courage, went home, wrote. And somebody now called me and said he saw my name in The Guardian by Shaibu Husseini. That's a byline. I said, Guardian. I went to Costain. I was staying in Igomo at that time. Went to Costain. I bought like 10 copies of the paper, just seeing my name. And that was the motivation. And I started writing. He created a column for me, made me a columnist. And when people started seeing that I was reporting the industry, they started inviting me to events, and I was reporting consistently without, any gratification, so to speak. You can ask them. You can call any of them and ask them. I was doing it consistently. And all of a sudden, if they want to describe, even before my appointment, sometimes they call me a stakeholder, because it's like the Yoruba say, when a soap stays on a leaf for a long time, itself becomes the leaf or the soap or something like that. So that's how it be. So mentorship has been Professor Yerima, a great mentor, Femi Udugbemi, a great mentor. I can't list them. I have a lot of people, academic mentors, professional mentors, even spiritual mentors too.
Yeah.
If you want to grow, if you want to go far, you need to be mentored.
Well, if you're just joining for the first time, you're listening to VOP 90.3 FM. I'm Cordelia Okpei. And the reason we're going this route before coming to the other things we'll be talking about is for us to know, for the young people who are watching, we just had their day the other day, May 27, to know the place of mentoring people, mentoring the young people around you. And when we're talking about mentorship, I know that we're not talking about the kind of people that would want to kill the shine of a person, because there are some who call themselves mentors, but they're afraid of the people they are mentoring. No, we're not talking about that. And also for you to understand the person we have as a guest, who will be talking about this sector, and that this person knows the sector, and no better person to talk about this growth than him. And talking about the growth now, the years gone by till now, there has been massive growth. Some would say maybe positive, some would say negative, depends on the side of the divide they belong to. But let's look at the technical bits now of Nollywood from then till now. How has it been from under your watch? What has the development been like?
It has been great. We have moved with time. Nollywood is one industry that actually moves with time. There was a time when it was VHS. We moved from VHS to CD, from CD to DVD. Now we're using some digital platforms. So it moves with time, and that's what I like about Nollywood. Each time there's something new, they grab it. Anytime there's something new, they grab it to improve the industry. And the industry has improved. And as the industry is progressing, we have more talents coming in. Talents who are, who are knowledgeable or who know how to use some of the modern technical equipment. For instance, each time they argue that there's new Nollywood and there's old, I would just say no, that what has changed is the technology of making films, and then the people who met the technology at the time. If people like Uncle Zeb met all these digital cameras and the rest at the time they were shooting, they won't be doing some of those things that we are laughing at today. If we had people like these boys now that are doing visual effects for Jagun and the rest, back then, we won't be
for Ogunde and Co.
Yes, the Ogundes at the time. I know about the Ogundes because he mentored me too. I was in his compound in Ososa for over a year. In fact, I was in camp with Ogunde until he died. So we were depending on foreigners to come and do visual effects for us. But today we have young people who are using, computer-aided technology to get those visual effects done. We have people who are shooting smart now, people who are making films that are competing globally. Just recently, a film like Mami Water traveled all over the world, and he's still traveling and he's still showing, by CJ Obasi. At the time we were like in the 2000s, early 2000s, you can't actually say that your film can show abroad. But now we have our films traveling all over the world. We have practitioners who are part of academies, the Oscars, Uncle Femi Udugbemi, Mo Abudu, and all those ones. So there has been a lot of progression. What is missing actually is like unity of the industry. What is missing is like us agreeing on certain standards, for the industry. What is missing is us agreeing to self-regulate ourselves. But if it is in terms of practice, we have the talents. We have them here.
What do you mean by certain standards?
Okay, for instance, this incident that happened recently where we lost some people, the Junior Pope and the rest of them. It was after Junior Pope had died that we started talking about production standards. We should have something like a manual, a production manual, standard production manual agreed by everyone. This should have a standard contract by now. It's over 30 years of video. I'm not saying 30 years of the industry, because the industry started, when we started making films after the indigenization decree of 1973 or so, thereabout. So This is over 30 years of us making films, making videos, doing, of a self-styled Nollywood industry. We should have a standard contract that you will sign and you know that everything is in place. People shouldn't be working like 24 hours on a set, at this time of our industry. People should have required, production facilities like ambulance, like this, like that on a set. Presently, it's not as if we don't have producers who put those things in place, but it's just if you have the capacity and you have the exposure to do all those ones. But there should be a standard that we should do it. We should have a body like overseas. The big studios came together and they are united in everything that they do. Even with the regulation on smoking, they came together and agreed and said, look, this is what we have to do. But in this industry, by the time you are calling one, you will see 5, you will see 10. You won't have just one body. Today, one body will go and say they are representing the industry. The next day, you see some other people paying courtesy call. We're on our own. We're on our own. And we can't achieve anything if we are divided. But thankfully, Ali Nuhu and I are thinking that one of the things that we must leave before our tenure expires or even after our tenure expires is the unity of the industry. We are working seriously on having a self-regulatory structure for them. All they just need maybe like government backing, so that when they make laws, when they make rules, not laws now, when they make rules, it will be obeyed roundly. See what happened during the Junior Pope time. One association said they are going to stop production. Another one was working.
Yeah.
They were doing. So they can't speak with one voice. And we are working towards making sure that we have them speak with one voice.
You see, advertisers, for instance, you have agencies or bodies like Arcon.
Arcon is the regulatory.
Yes, they regulate.
And then they now have sectoral bodies.
They have
AAPN.
all of them.
All those are.
And they are very serious about what they do.
Yeah.
They sanction broadcasting houses and co who do not have their adverts and so on certified. And I'm thinking, if it's possible for it to become something mandated or mandatory, for there to be a body, I'm not talking about the guilds now. I'm not talking of guild of editors or
Directors Guild or Association of Movie Producers.
I'm talking about a body like Arcon that stands to represent the movie kingdom. Let me put it at that. When that Junior Pope thing happened, all the evil things in quotes about the productions that go on in Asaba came up. And the frenzy of the moment, they came and nobody said anything again. We heard that a lot of people would have died and have died there.
Yeah.
But nothing concrete has come out of this. Now, this plan or these thoughts that you have with Ali Nuhu, is it a kind of thought that can give birth to such a body that the government will say, all of you must subscribe to this body. We're not controlling it. No, you control it yourself. But all of you must subscribe to it. Is that kind of a thing we are looking at?
Yes, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at forming like a coalition of guilds or congress of guilds or federation of guilds.
Different from the federation we have now.
Yes, different from the federation now. But what this one will be, whether it is a federation, whether it's movie practitioners council or whatever, what this one will be is that every sectoral body, every divide of the industry, we have just one representative. It must not be the president. They can choose at their levels. They can choose one director, one cinematographer, one this to be on the council. They meet from time to time. We will have representative of government on there so that when they are going out of line, we are not regulating, we are not doing anything. When they are doing something that is not supposed to be their role, we will just be like a link between them and the ministry. Okay, so we just give them like some backing to operate. So they meet in council to decide on the industry, to represent the industry. It's a self-regulated stuff. When they meet in council, they take decisions. They just say, okay, look, we are proposing to government that government should give us a backing. If a foreign crew is coming to the country, you have 40% foreign crew, 60% local. It's done in South Africa. You don't just bring a crew without using the internal crew. There are some productions you do in Australia, as far as Australia, that if you don't do it totally in their country, you cannot show it anywhere. That's how to grow your industry. But you find a situation here where all our big films are handled by foreign cinematographers. Sometimes they even bring gaffers from abroad to Nigeria.
And sometimes I just feel that such films, why put them in for awards to compete with people who've done their things locally? Why?
That's why sometimes at the AMAs, when we are giving those awards and we find out that the person is a foreigner, because the whole idea of AMA is to celebrate African talent, we don't give those kind of credits to a cinematographer that is not from Africa, that is not homegrown. We check as far as your DNA to know, because we don't want to privilege people from outside over us. But this federation, this coalition, this Congress can meet from time to time to fashion out, decisions, to take decisions on behalf of the industry that is binding. That's what we are planning. We are not planning to have a federation or whatever that will be controlled by government. No, it's not controlled. They will raise money for themselves. They can raise grants. Government can even give. Like me and Alinu, we can find something in our budget to support them, to have maybe pay their rent for their secretariat, but not to buy jeeps or whatever for them. They can do that by themselves. They can get money from practice fees. Nobody's paying any practice fee. Even in those associations that you hear that they are guilds and the rest, some people are not paying dues. Some people, they're just members by name. But I pay practice fee to ARCON because I'm a registered practitioner of advertising. I pay practice fee to NIPR because I'm a registered practitioner of public relations in Nigeria. But you can't find anybody who is telling you that he's a registered practitioner of film, because till tomorrow it's a all-commerce. In fact,
no, they are registered. For instance, the producers and Cordelia.
No,
but they are not paying their dues.
Most of them are not paying. You find out that most of the time when they pay dues, I'm an insider, so I know. You find out that most of the time when they pay dues is when the election is coming.
Or they want to go and submit
and
film
they want
for
to,
censors.
or they want to go to Censors board and submit their films. Because what we are trying to do too at the Censors board, and I give a lot of credit to my predecessor, is that we want to professionalize the industry. We don't want a situation where you will just be on your own operating. You need to belong to something. You need to belong to a professional association.
Okay, we're going to come here, but first, let's understand. For anybody listening now, I'm sure some will be wondering, what is National Film and Video Censors Board again? Which one? These people are censoring our films. No one. So let's break it down. This board, actually, what is it about? What does it represent? What does it do?
Actually, the National Film and Video Censors Board was formally established in 1993, but it began operations in June 1994. It's the government body responsible for regulating movie content, for regulating exhibition, and for regulating distribution in the country. So if you have a content that you want to, the law makes it mandatory for you that if you are producing any content that is video, that is narrative, dramatized narrative, you must pass it to the board for, at the time the board started, for censorship and then classification before you release it to whatever platform. But when the board started, of course, we didn't have all these digital platforms and all that. So the board has undergone a lot of review in terms of their law. There's a 2006 review, and there's one that is coming up into 2024. But even before the review, as soon as I heard my name as the executive director of the National Film and Video Censors Board, I studied classification all over the world, and I found out that a lot of them have moved from censorship to classification. Some of them got that toga in Africa when they were under some military regime and the rest. So the first thing I told my honorable minister, and she agreed, and that's what we love about our honorable minister. When you have a very good thing that will help the industry, that will help the ordinary artist, because she normally tells us that she's a performance artist, because she's a poet. So when we tell her something that will benefit the entire industry, she agrees. And I told her that I am moving the Censors Board from censorship to classification. She gave a nod almost immediately when I said that.
What will be the difference?
The difference now is that we are not legislating so much about the content. We are worried. Whenever you see us worried about the content, we give it a classification that it deserves. So if you do something against national security, anything like that, we give it a restriction. A restriction means that you can't see it anywhere. You can only see it with your family and the rest. So we give it a restriction. It can't be shown anywhere. So what will it profit you as a filmmaker to make a film against our national interest, against national security, and it get a restriction classification symbol. So it won't profit you. So we are moving into classification where our job is to give it the rating that it deserves. Just the rating. We are not longer telling you, go and cut this, cut that. We can give you advisory. We can tell you that, look, like for instance, all over the world now, people are running away from just showing blood everywhere. So the filmmakers themselves take responsibility to turn the image to black and white. That's what one filmmaker from South Africa did of A Good Report, Jamie Baker. His film was so much blood because there was a teacher who was spilling blood in the film.
Is it a Tarantino type film?
Something like that. So he now turned the whole picture to black and white. So you could hardly know that it was blood that he was going. That's where a filmmaker takes responsibility for what he wants to show his audience. So what we basically do, what I have come to the board to do, is to move from that. You know, each time you mention censorship, the person,
like gagging.
It feels like gagging. It feels like you are using a scissors to cut off some stuff of things from your work. So I said, no, we won't go do that. We will do more of classification, do more of engagement with the filmmakers to take responsibility. Because like I always tell them, if you do the right thing, if you know what the censors, the classification board does not want, there's nobody that is going to go after you. Once you do what you are supposed to do, we will do less job of going after you or telling you, oh no, this one is wrong, you don't have to do this. I mean, if you know that the law says that for you to put up advert anywhere on radio, on TV, you have to pass it to ARCON, for instance. If you obey, nobody will go after you. And then if you do, but a lot of them disobey. A lot of them. In fact, in the Censors board when I came, about 65% of people were bypassing the board and they were going straight to whatever medium that they were doing.
And they were accepting these films?
Where?
Were they accepting?
Yeah, they were. And that's why the first thing I did when I took over in March was to begin to engage with those platforms. And I told them that it's against our law. And you can't come into our country and operate and you go against the law of the land. So you must make sure that no film gets, no video work, no music, no musical video, no skit gets on your platform if it doesn't have a classification certificate from the National Film and Video Censors Board.
If you're wondering about this classification thing, let me see if I can give you a small example. When you tune on, when you put on, let's say your movie channel on any of those platforms and you hear this film is rated for children, this film is rated for people above 18.
They will say it's rated G and it's for general viewing.
Yes.
It's rated 18 and it's not meant for children below the age of 18. Like that. Those are the classifications. Give us,
is it the normal international standard classification we're following?
Yes.
Or, okay, so what is this standard, or what are these various tags for each of the classification? Should I call it level?
There are symbols. Actually, there's G, there's R, which is restricted. You know,
that
and
means you won't show that anywhere.
You won't show. It's like you are doing porn, or you are doing something like, no, you can't. We don't even have that in our culture or whatever to show that one in public. You know, that's why sometimes I cringe, because there are most things that we were doing when we were growing up that people were doing hiding, but now it's in the open. Like pool betting, you know this betting. People, you see old men, they go and hide somewhere, one small room. But now everywhere you see,
they're advertising it now.
In fact, there are young small boys. One day I caught some small boys who were in primary school. They had tickets in their pocket. They say they are. In fact, what is happening today? So we have those kind. G for general viewing. Then 18. That means that it's anybody from 18 years and above. And then we have other ones like 14. We can even give 15. You know, depending on the content. In Hollywood, if you are doing a film that is 15, 14, 16, there will be nothing that will offend the sensibilities of an adult, because there, once you are 16, you have gotten to the adult stage. In Nigeria, it's 18. That's why even when I had a meeting in one of those platforms, I told them that what is your community standard is not the same with our community standard. Here, you have to be 18 before you are allowed to see some of those content. But abroad, you can be 16. So don't use your own rating on us. It's different. What you can permit, you know, a boy and a boy doing whatever that they are not supposed to do in your own community standard. But here, it's prohibited. It's prohibited. You can't do same sex here. You go to jail if they get you, you know, and all that. So there are ratings for each film, and we'll give their appropriate rating. And some filmmakers, you know why they contest rating? Because if they contest, if for instance you give a filmmaker a film that is supposed to be seen by 18 above, you now give him a rating of 15, he will feel offended because it will delimit his market. And online, they will demonetize him. He will not get as much.
Wait, does it affect online?
Yes, it does. It does. Especially when you take it to streaming platforms that are really organized, not all this TV that they are setting up everywhere. When you take it to some streaming platforms, they will tell you, because these films are shown in other parts of the world where classification is taken very seriously. There was a time one musician released a music video, and I think I was in Cyprus or so at the time. I was struggling to watch the thing. They tell me this video is restricted in this area because of depiction of glamorization of smoking, alcohol. In fact, there was somebody on the table who put, you know, like when we're acting, we put powder on the table and say we are sniffing drug in a musical video. What is the reason?
Was it a Nigerian video?
Yes, in Nigeria. They put it on the table. And when they touched the guy woke up and they saw like powder like that. They restricted it there. I didn't see it. I tried every trick on laptop, on phone, everywhere. They say this video is restricted in this territory and all that. And I think we will begin to do that in our own territory.
But right now we're not restricting online for now, because I think we see every and anything.
Oh no, we are going into that regime. We're just waiting for these regulations to be gazetted by the Ministry of Justice, because it's not just our making. You know, once it's gazetted, we will have finished our level of engagement with music video producers, with skit makers and our filmmakers. Once we finish, we'll announce a date, because we're in a democracy, and I don't want to come and begin to do, I'm a man from today, or I don't want to come and say, okay, we'll backdate. No. And because these platforms provide us avenue to know when these films are uploaded, to know the date and the time and all that. So we'll be able to say, okay, from this day, once our platform is okay, from this day, we are starting. Anybody who goes online without censorship, without classification.
Don't worry, it will take some time, even for you.
Without classification, anybody who goes online without classification, we will go after the person. Not like we will begin to chase up everybody. We will just take one person and do a small example.
And you play the band
example,
for him.
not scapegoat. We just do example for him. So when we now prosecute him, because the law permits us, the law says any content, video, skit, music video, we must pass classification. You must get a rating for it, so that our young people will know what they are watching. But
Doctor, please, let me stop you a little. We have to clear this place. So music videos, skits, films, short films.
Short films from 0 to 5 minutes, 5 minutes to 40 minutes. Once it is dramatized, not those ones that are go and buy ring light and they are working everywhere and they are entertaining themselves.
Okay, once you do it like drama.
Yes, once it's dramatized, you have actors, you have dialogue, you have costume, you have a set. Once it's dramatized narrative, you must classify it. So even, not all those ring light stuff.
No. So we're looking at things like, let's say for the skits, we are looking at productions by, for instance, Sabino's Nas Boy, Macaroni, and all those people.
All those ones that are doing a duet, that they'll be the same person and they'll be doing all those things. Mark Angel, them, all those ones.
DG, God bless you. There is this thing I've been fighting with, right? And I think there is this platform where I had dropped it there. Nothing could be done about it because we don't have the power to do anything. And it has to do with skits that they pass off as real life, right? There is no, should I call it disclaimer at the beginning and at the end. I've been quarreling with this for a very long time now. I'll take a cue from a particular one where the guy, they caught a woman who had stolen a baby to sell, and the child was just sleeping peacefully. To me, I knew it was a skit. But people took it, ran with it, and read it as news. I reached out to a couple of people, they didn't believe. So I tried to look for the person. And let me quickly say this now. When you see such things, look for that person. There's usually a handle. Look for it. Once you see content creator, you must use it as fact checking. So I looked for the young man and I asked him, this thing you've done, are you aware people are taking it as real? He said, oh no, I just do it for people to learn. Are you aware you are supposed to let people know it's drama, which is part of the laws governing or rules governing the production of drama? He said, oh no. I said, you will get into trouble. So what do we do about such?
Okay. All right. What we are also doing about those type is that we have told those platforms from Facebook to TikTok and all that. In fact, by 6th of June in my office in Abuja, we'll be carrying out like an online training of my staff because I insisted that they must all give us a reporting deck. It's done in every part of the world. They give those reporting decks to the regulators there so that when they find this kind of infractions, they report immediately and ask. Because now there are some people who no longer do skits, they go live. They do their own life. So we just report quickly to you that this person is doing what is against our rules and the rest. Or this person has done this skit. There is no warning that this thing is not real. You must not do it and so on. But that brings us to our regulation. Our regulation says that, look, if you must do a skit that you need to do one or some of these things that you are talking about, there must be a warning so that you don't mislead people. You don't mislead. The whole idea is that you don't mislead people to think that that solves the problem. In fact, when I got to the board and I saw this regulation, I thought that it was time for us. I know we'll get to that because, I mean, that's one of the burning issues now. I thought we should get to that regulation. So they told me that already we will have done this regulation that we announced recently since 2015 when the federal government signed on to when the federal government passed the National Tobacco Control Act. Which has been reviewed to the National Tobacco Control Act of 2019. There is an act in place that says that prohibits the promotion and glamorization of smoking and the rest. So I now said, I had a scenario. A young girl in a film came back home, sad because I think it was February 14th scenario, so she couldn't get, her boyfriend disappointed her. So when she came home, she picked up a pack of cigarettes. They showed us the pack of cigarettes. Then she now removed some sticks and started smoking. And the filmmaker was doing like speed, but it was from one smoke to the other, until we saw on the tray, ashtray. It was
empty.
No, the ashtray had over 14 sticks that were already, somebody had taken. 14 sticks. And they were just concentrating on that area. And I said, that's what promotion is about. So before I became ED, I sent a message to the producer. He now said, you know what he told me? He said, if a tobacco company gives you money to make film, what will you do? What will you do? So that's when I now knew that because government has banned, the Tobacco Act banned advertising of smoking completely. So because government has banned them on television, so they are now using our films to promote. But it's not even about the filmmaker making a film with smoke, but it's about protecting our young people not to know. See, Madam Kodi, when I was a child, I watched a film and I saw them smoking. You know what I did? I carried my note. I carried my note. I tore it. I roll them. Happy because I see them for screen.
Yeah. In
2022, they caught one boy and they told him that, what told you that carrying this girl from Lagos to Shaibu to go and kill her to make money, you see the money? He said he saw it on film. They are very impressionistic people. So we are not even saying don't show, but we are saying that you must warn. There is a warning. In fact, there was one when I came back and he was shouting, you can't make a law about society and it will be obeyed. I said, no, the law is not against society. The law is for the betterment of society. 2 days after, he was watching a film on a platform, let me just mention Netflix, and he screen grabbed the warning. The warning was a full page. Algorithm as we go around. We subscribed a warning. The warning was a full page on screen, and they stayed there for like 3 minutes so that you will read. They had, although their own warning was about animal cruelty.
No animal was hurt while
while the film was on. They now came to 4 strong lines that were about smoking. 4 very strong lines that were about smoking. And I will for the benefit of our readers, because they said this one, Shaibu Husseini something. Consumption of alcohol and smoking tobacco are both injurious to health. See people we want to do film, and then they won. Are both injurious to health. Neither the film nor the makers of this film or any other persons associated with this film intend to glorify, endorse, promote, encourage, and support the purchase, use of consumption of any type of drugs, alcohol, or tobacco products in any manner. And then they now say, no animal or humans were harmed, injured, or mistreated during the making of this film. This is the mandatory warning. Global practice.
So you're just asking for them to have such warnings, just like they were telling cigarette makers that you should start putting skulls and you're liable to come down with cancer and all that.
Yes, and lung cancer and the rest. In fact, internationally, after you finish this warning on the front, at the start of the film, on each scene that you are smoking, you have to run the line. You have to run. Smoking is injurious to health. You are not saying that one will stop, because I was reading somewhere one professor was saying that with that one stop people from smoking. It won't. But put the warning.
Do your own.
So that people do your own part. Play your own part as a parent, as a filmmaker who has children and the rest of them. And then also put it at the end. Somebody was referring me to Hollywood. I showed him one example of a film in Hollywood. They had this warning from the beginning. During a scene where they were smoking, the actor, they wrote a line in the movie to discourage him. They now say, you still doing this? The guy said, what do I do? He said, but this is not the only way to get out of depression. And then he coughs. He said, you see, this is one of the problem of this. Has that guy not passed a message?
Yes.
He has. But here they will say, now which brand? Which brand do they take like this? Now the newest be this. I go try am.
So wait, even now maybe they will start putting warning, and the one is out there say rituals do not to give you money. Don't kill anybody.
Then that one, yes, in that one, for historical accuracy, you have to put a warning that this thing is not real. Nobody's head was cut off. No money came out of any head in the film. Right?
So where did the hue and cry come out from? Because, you know, I know you had this, I saw the speech you gave at a stakeholders forum you had on this particular matter. And by the time a little bit of that thing was taken, the whole world, that is Nigeria, started screaming that, smoking and ritual killings and ritual for money in Nigerian movies, they've been banned. The Nigerian Film and Video Censors Board has banned them, so. And we were like, which time would they talk about this? How did all this happen?
No, what happened was that there were some journalists who didn't go to Enugu with us. But there were some people, because we did this in collaboration with Kappa, and Kappa has a network of journalists who work with them. So Kappa actually brought the journalists who followed us to Enugu. And those ones who reported in Enugu reported exactly what happened there. But the moment they saw that, I said there's prohibition of glamorization and promotion of money ritual and the rest. The first headline that somebody forwarded to me and said, Shaibu, you guys cannot be doing this, was federal government bans smoking scenes, ritual scenes in movie. The impression you are giving them is that no movie in Nigeria again should have smoking scene and something, and that's not what I said. We're just interested in the glamorization and promotion of tobacco, money ritual and the rest. If your film requires a necessary scene to depict, and it is for historical accuracy, it's for educational purpose, or to correct a negative lifestyle, you can use it, but you must give a warning before, during, and after the film. You must do it just for the sake of a healthy screen, for the sake of our children who are watching, who will watch and know that okay, this thing no be true self now, acting, then they act. So you don't take somebody, and you know the problem I have. That's why I said to my management at the board, we must do a lot of engagement. The problem I have is that sometimes the consequences of some of the action does not balance the real act that happens. For instance, a man in a single film kills 8 people in a film because wealthy, and then he's doing CSR everywhere. Then they are promoting the CSR, they are spraying money, they are doing everything. Then his own consequence is that one of the ghosts appears and start chasing him about. Then turns him to a madman. Then he start picking something from the dustbin to eat. And then they will now tell you, to God be the glory.
And they'll start playing the music for him. Why is this world so wicked?
Oh God, that's the thing, you know. So, but you must warn and tell the people, if what you are depicting is for historical accuracy, if what you are depicting is for educational purpose, or to correct a negative lifestyle, you must warn and say, this thing you are watching is not real. Nobody's head was cut in this film. You remember those days where people will act and they'll come out and people will be running away and say,
Willy.
They'll come and say, no, you be that woman will kill somebody for film. You feel keep person for real life. And that's because they don't know where to suspend belief. So you must warn.
You know, this is not just a Nigerian thing. You remember Wizard of Oz. You remember the Wicked Witch of the East, the green one. They had to take her around places, schools, and so on, for people to believe that it's not true, she's not really a witch or this and that, because people actually believed. And we're like in that kind of period now where people seem to believe everything they see. And so you must give the classification and make sure that those things are put in there. Now, some people will want to bring out these films ASAP. And you say even skit makers would need to pass through this process to be sure that these things we've talked about are well accounted for. And a skit maker, for instance, would want the thing out by, say, tomorrow or thereabout, because it's talking about something that is happening right now. How long will it take for that to take place?
Okay, when we go to the regime, you know, the first thing I did when I was appointed, when I met them, I told them that, look, we're moving from censorship to classification. They like that. I said the second thing I want to achieve is to reduce the comeback time of movies when you send it to us for classification. And the comeback time, they have complained before to say, sometimes when they send their film, it takes weeks, it takes months. So I said, no. We are working on a deck at the Censors Board that can be accessed by our censorship officers all over the nation. Once we get that deck on, once you submit your film, if you're a skit maker, of course, your skit cannot be more than highest 5 minutes. Sometimes 1 minute, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. If you submit your film to us, we expect that if you submit it at 9 o'clock, by 11, you will print your censorship certificate on that deck after we verified your payment. If you have a long film, if it shouldn't take more than 48 hours to get your certificate with the thing that we want to do now, and we start it in June, you will see. The reason why I've not started it is that we're perfecting it. And I even promised them that by the time we launch it, by the time the minister announces that we have launched it, we'll even do like tests for people to know that, yes, this is what we want to do. And it will take only an artist to do this. You know, I'm not a politician, I'm an artist. So I know that you have to test something to make sure it is perfect before you now go and fully follow it. Because I don't want them to come tomorrow and say, Oga, you tell us we could declassify our film. See, I want to release my film on Friday, and today, na Thursday, and I never get my film. So I promised them comeback time, and I told them that if your film, we even have a hotline, you know, that you can call. Is 24/7. My staff are on it. Yesterday, I even tried them. By 1 o'clock, I woke up and I sent a message. I said, how come you have not given me my film? They answered me. They said I should give them the film title. They will check. And they said, no, that this film is not there. You know, and they knew that. They just found out that. They gave me a reply that I wanted. So we are setting up that infrastructure. It will be ready by the end of this month. We'll launch it in June. Allow some for free classification, and then we'll now say. And another thing we are doing is that so that we don't discourage people who are trying to build their followership, we have agreed as a board that once you have a subscriber base of about 30,000 or something, 30,000 I think, subscriber base, you have to come to us.
Wait, you people are doing Band-Aid too? You are doing band A.
Well, we have to start from that so that those people who have not started getting money from what they are doing. So it's not the issue of band A,
That
band
is
B.
segregation.
No, not be segregation. This one are just to show that we have like a human face to this thing. That is not that. There are some people who are struggling to build up their subscriber base. So if you now tell those people to do, that's with a start to, but it won't even go more than 1 month.
But wait. Even if they have one followers or one follower, and they're still doing rubbish. Have you not seen? Sometimes I'll go and look for the people who did this thing that some mothers are now sharing on WhatsApp group. You see that their followers very small, and they are talking rubbish, and somehow they are going viral. Is that not a risk too?
Not that they can't classify their content. We will have a small window for them to pay like less than those guys who are already getting some revenue. It's just to encourage growth. It's just to encourage more people to come up. But eventually, you cannot release any content, any dramatized content in this country if you don't get that film or content classified by the Film and Video Censors Board. And we are working with the platforms to ensure that they comply with our law, to make sure that there's a kind of way they set their system up, that if you don't get the censorship, you can. There are some platforms, you can't go there. They will confirm, even if you show them censorship classification certificate, they will confirm from us and tell us, is this from Censors Board? We say yes, before they take up, because they know what the law says. And I don't want to during my tenure, I don't want to go to court with anyone. I want a situation where we will just be responsible to do our own part, and then we'll go. So there is no ban of smoking scene, but what we say is that if you have a necessary scene for educational purpose, for historical accuracy, and of course to correct a negative lifestyle, by all means, do it, because we know that there are some narratives that demand that you have to depict some of those things. But please put a warning from the beginning, while the scenes are on, and then at the end. It is for the protection of our young ones. And interestingly, the World Tobacco Day is on Friday, and the theme is protecting our children from tobacco interference or something.
That's on the 31st.
Yeah.
I have a question here on YouTube, but I'll read it out. But if you want to contribute via phone, it's 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. We'll be taking a look at the film industry this 1 year of this administration, some of the things that would have transpired negatively or positively to add to the growth of this sector. But this person, DESD, is asking, what's your take on the Mopicon bill as a self-regulatory framework? And is this Congress being thought of a duplication or in the same line? What is a Mopicon? Okay,
fantastic. Bill? Before now, government has been wanting to help the industry set up Mopicon. But the Mopicon he's talking about, I'm very aware. I followed the development of Mopicon till...
What is it?
Motion Pictures Practitioners Council.
Okay.
It's almost like what they did for advertising. They wanted to achieve for this. But the government we are now is not the type where we want to set up a council where we will be regulating the industry. That structure is just going to collapse into this new structure that we're talking about. It will no longer be the council, because government cannot set up a council now. The way we were running the Mopicon at that time, it was supposed to be set up like some agencies were struggling to even have it under them, so that they will be the one controlling the council. But Alino and I are artists, so we don't want anybody to regulate. We want a self-regulated industry, but that has government backing. So that your Mopicon is what we have. We are trying to turn into a self-regulatory body without government full involvement. Because with your Mopicon, government will appoint chairman for you people. Government will appoint a chief executive for you people and the rest of them. And we don't want that one. In fact, even ACON, they were established during the military.
Yes.
And so there's a place in their statute that says that government will appoint a chairman. You know that there was a time government appointed one lawyer as their chairman. And the practitioner stood up, and that appointment did not stand. So we don't even want to go that far where you'll be fighting government over who they appoint. We want this kind of structure. So it's the same Mopicon, but it's just that this is a Mopicon that is not controlled by government, but it's run by the practitioners. The only thing we give them is like a backing. And I want to give that listener this example. There's something called collective rights management organization. These ones that collect money on behalf of artists and distribute every year. They get their license from Nigerian Copyright Commission. They are independently run. They raise their money. They go after companies to pay license fees for artists they use. But the only thing is that government gives them a backing through NCC. So now we want to give a backing to a structure, a structure that we have just one representative of each arm into it. The backing can come from NFC, the backing can come from NFVCB, but we won't control them. They will run, they will collect dues, they will do everything, practice fees, they will set rules and regulations that bind them together, and we will just give them the necessary backing.
Talking about support and so on, has the sector received grant funds and so on, any form of technical support from the present administration?
Yes, there is IDs fund that is available now. It's over 700 million or so dollars that is available for them to access, and the information are everywhere. We have circulated the information. I personally, I'm going to have a meeting with the cinema exhibitors and the Federation of Distributors this weekend, and it's just to introduce the funding to them. That, I think that funding is controlled is put under the office of the vice president of this country, and the funding is for the creative industry, and we can tap into that funding. There are some other funding platforms that our honorable minister has been able to partner with organizations like Nexim, like POI. They have some windows for the creative industry to tap in. And filmmakers always should not wait for when the funding is just for filmmakers. Once they say there's a funding for the creative industry, we must put our own structures together and see how we can tap into that fund. And there are a lot of opportunities for them in those funds, especially for us to build infrastructure for the industry. I mean, there are no proper sound stage for the industry. Over 30 years now, no sound stage where you can start your production from start to finish. You find out that most time when they finish, they begin to go abroad to do post-production and all that. And it's not necessary. We should be able to have a place where we can do something from start to finish. So they can tap into those infrastructure. We are already government, so we can't go there and collect monies to do these things. But the practitioners themselves can actually get themselves together, and they will say, and I know that a body like Filmic is trying to, tap into that. By the way, Filmic is the elite group for creative artists, particularly filmmakers, who are very positive about the industry. And I hear that they are putting their proposal together to see how they can tap into the fund. And I'm sure that going forward, there'll be other grants, like the National Film and Video Censors Board. We are hoping that in 2025 we should be able to support script development at least, because we get the monies from the creators, so we should be able to give something back to them in terms of developing script. Because one thing that is missing most of the time in our productions is that we spend more time on the production and less time on developing the script in such a way. I know that in places like South Africa, they can spend as much as 3 years, on script. And that's because somehow they get some kind of support, from government and the rest. But even here, when we get some support, we are always in a hurry to go and shoot. And it is when the film is running that we begin to know the errors and all that. But we'll have taken care of that if we go through the process of script development. I mean, look at the film like Mami Water that CJ Obasi did. The development of that thing took a long time before the film came, and see the way it's accepted globally. And there are so many films like that, Breath of Life, all those films by Mo Abudu, films by Bolanle Austin Peters. I know that Fumilayo or Ransom Kuti was not just one day. It started a long time ago. I knew when she started writing this, developing the script and working on the script, until now, see the film is everywhere and everybody's rushing to go and see it. So even at the Censors Board, we are hoping that next year we will have some small grant for script development, particularly films that we put Nigeria in good light. Because we want to continue with one project started by one of my predecessors, Emeka Mba, called Nigeria in the Movies. We just discovered that most of the time when we sell our films abroad, I mean, it's just some recent films now that you actually see Nigeria showed in good light. You know, I've seen Fumilayo and I see the beautiful sets. I'm sure a lot of people will be wondering, where did they find this location in the country? But we have those places. We have those iconic structures in Nigeria that you could use. There was even when Muabudu did the Shoinka production, you find out that she used very iconic sites, and I was wondering, where did they get all these places from? So this is the kind of thing we want to project to the world, that we have iconic sites, we have places. I'm wondering why people don't go to Jos to go and shoot. They don't go to Taraba, the hills in Taraba.
Well, you know what, one of the major problem will be that of security. People are afraid to carry a whole crew, cast and crew, to such a location. See, just Asaba here, just crossing the river, see what happened. Basically, lack of preparation, blaming trade, or rather the English don't run from
no, but
trading blames and so on. Now imagine taking somebody from here to just to here. So that people are just afraid.
No, but in your production, there must be provision for security. And I'm sure if you approach some of these security agencies, they'll be able to, so far they know that what you are doing is for we put us in good light. Because sometimes you use these people and at the end of the day, you go and do something else that you begin to wonder. Then you now ask the policeman to go and secure you. And in your film, you are showing the police as a very weak institution and all that. So I'm sure if you collaborate with them, they'll be able to. I know some filmmakers that have, look at Paul Appel, that collaborated with the Nigerian Air Force. And they shot in the north because the guys knew that this film is going to project them in good light. And then they were able to support. And that film is not a propaganda film to say. I mean, this is a well-shot film, made very well, you know, that will entertain, that will also tell you that, oh, there's a possibility, you know, in this industry.
Well, a lot of people are very interested in this bit about, what do you call it, the ritual killings and so on. And they've complained a lot that it's part of what is fueling this Yahoo thing with the children. They're making them believe that it does sell, and they are doing, they display so much wealth, making it look like that is what life is all about. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about cultism and all that, and some of the people who called were blaming our movies. You just talked about these movies putting us in a good light. How are we going to do it to reduce this presence? I know that you're talking about classification and so on, but how can we do it to reduce this thirst, this longing for these gory things in our movies? And in case, if the line is proving a bit difficult, you could also send a WhatsApp message. I got, you'll see I'll be taking that, but I'll still give you 0700 903 903 903. If your call does come in, I'll be taking it on WhatsApp. Is 0817 175 6338. You could also send a message. So how do we do it to make minus the classification, to even reduce the level at which these things are being portrayed in our movies?
Is the responsibility of the filmmakers. They need to take responsibility. They should see it as their own way of improving society, of helping society. You know, they shouldn't feast on you know, what they consider what people want to watch. No. Who told them that that's what people want to watch? That's what they want to see. You know, that's what they want to see and all that. We have done too many rituals in this country. In fact, one of the films that, you know, we can actually say that signaled, you know, interest in motion picture production in the country at commercial level was Ritual film. The next one was The Ritual. In fact, there's even a film titled Ritual. And all that.
From all the living in bondage.
We have done all those ritual films. So we can explore other themes. There are things that we can do. I was speaking to a very top lady, a festival founder in this country, who has brought a lot of investment to this country. she told me that if it is possible for us to ban ritual, we should ban it, because that thing has given us a bad name internationally. It is the reason why she cannot bring people to come here and work, do some kind of work, because they will say all we do there is to do films about ritual. So it's because if I say, oh, we are going to ban ritual now, they will say, oh, you are Muslim creativity, you are want to do moral police and the rest. But that's not what I came to the board to do. But we'll continue to engage them. There are other themes that they can explore. We have not done a bit, scratch a bit of the kind of stories that we do in this country. Is it not somebody that has just done a film about Fumilayo Ransom Kuti? There are many films that we can make and people will enjoy. People will look at it and say, there are many of our icons, there are many of our heroes that we can celebrate, and people will do it. Didn't they do film about Queen Amina? Were they cutting people's head, apart from the normal war that they will go and you will see those actions done? Didn't we see Jagun Jagun? Didn't people fight and you saw all
Blood
those things?
Vessels,
yes, you saw all those films.
Those.
Didn't we see Black Book and the rest? Why can't somebody just stop and ask himself why Black Book was seen in over 77 countries of the world, and why it got the kind of viewership that it got? Can't people just stop and ask themselves? You know, and if you want to get those kind of hits, those are the kind of movies that you should be doing, because the film does not contain anything that is restricted in other parts of the world. That's why it was seen in those areas. So begin to make those kind of films and less on these killing people. And in fact, the thing about it is that some people will argue, even around my house, they were arguing that, but Shaibu, these things happen now. I said, where have you seen somebody, they cut his head and dollars will be coming out of his head? Where have you seen? Show me. And that's how they will go kill someone. A young boy, I think he's on Instagram, I saw that one. A young boy killed his father and his mother because they told him that he should bring 2 heads of people that are close to him. And it was after killing them. It's on Instagram, it's trending. I saw it. It was on Instagram. After killing them, they now asking, why did you kill them? He said, I don't know. I don't know. So if you begin to show all these things on screen, young people will think that yes, it is true. And that's the same thing that is happening to our musical video producers. Some of these videos can be done without nudity. It can be done without turning these women as commodity. It can be done without all this lifestyle that is not real. You know, you act, all those things are acting. You throw all this money, everything, and then the young man will say, I don't go school again. No, what I want to do with this? I want to sing. Then the next thing he starts sagging. The next thing he starts putting something in his mouth. And then they are smoking heavy. They are just smoking anything on screen. As an artist, I know that we use smoke machine in our when we want to do smoke effect. But now they don't use smoke machine again. They use everybody who are on that set will be smoking. So you will see smoke everywhere as smoke machine. So we really need to talk to engage our filmmakers.
Let me take this one. Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning.
Morning. Hello, sir. Your name, where are you calling from?
This is Mr. Desmond calling from Oshodi.
All right, go ahead. Welcome.
Thank you and thank God for your guest.
Yeah.
This thing my guest is saying is one of the things that make most of us don't like Nigerian movies, because it's not restricted or censored. If they will agree and ban anything ritual in Nigerian movies, let's portray love one another. I've been saying this for so many good years. The way our filmmakers write our films and show us is not good, doing good to us. It's portraying Africa as an evil, portraying Nigeria as evil. Most especially the Nollywood from the eastern part, where if you don't give them land, they will kill you. Most people will start this film from those initial part of it, but at the end, most people will not know how it ends. The story always comes to be realized at the end of that movie. But most people will start from the beginning. Later will take light. They will not know the conclusion. And will not carry our mindset in the beginning of that film. How wicked, how dubious, how poisonous, how killing they have become. But at the end of the day, never take light. We don't know how the conclusion of it all. So if they would truly please ban this film with all this poisonous wickedness, killing, this stop it entirely in this Nigeria. Right. It doesn't help us. Let's make a movie of love. How to marry outside person and be a good husband, outside person will be a good wife to Igbo person. Let's show love to one another in this film industry. It will help us to go a long way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You heard that. Let me quickly read this message. And the person says, I agree with what he's saying, and it's same issue I have with Nigerian music, videos and movies. No censorship, no warning. They tend to always focus their cameras on nonsense scenes like smoking, especially at a beer parlor. You see a lot of bottles on the table, even more than the brewery produce. Why? To promote what exactly? Most of the producers lack common sense to generate a story aside the usual, aside the glamorization of this illegal act. The lyrics of music also need to be checked, and I don't know if the same body or different one would check them out. A lot of the lyrics tend to talk about money, the desperation to get money by all means, and how you are not important if you don't have money. Most of the lyrics also promote sex and nudity. When these laws are being enforced, I hope they wouldn't give any special privilege to so-called big artists or actors. If the laws were in my hands, I would ban skits, because these days you can't even tell if an incident is happening for real. Also, it would have been nice that the minimum sentence be 50 years in prison for offenders after enlightenment, because some, after the warning, will still go ahead to do what's on their mind. 50 years, big go. Hello, how are you? Hello? Okay, I've picked your call, but I can't hear you. Hello? All right, you try and call back. You want to react to those two already? Doctor?
Yeah, well, I mean, I want to thank them for their contribution. I want to say that, yes, indeed, we are concerned as they are. I mean, the first caller just hit it on the head, where he said that, sometimes some people start watching the film and they don't see the consequences at the end. So they just believe that what they have seen is what happens. So I think they should join us in our effort to talk to these filmmakers so that they will be more responsible.
Hold on. Okay. Hello, how are you?
Good morning. I'm fine, ma. Good morning, ma.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Your name?
My name is Okpei. I'm calling from Ojo.
All right, go ahead.
Please, sir, I want to ask you, why is it so important for some of the actors, for them to go naked in movies just for them to entertain people? Why is it? Because I would say it is becoming too much. I don't understand.
It is, my dear.
Why must they, and those people are young youth, young ladies, and some of the old married women are wearing decent clothes. Indecent clothes, sorry. So I don't know if it's the kind of rules they are playing, or is it what they just choose to wear? Because they are discouraging people.
Okay, in fact,
and I want to ask you, what about Mr. Olu Jacob? I hope he's fine. It's long we heard
He's
about
fantastic. He's fine. He's very, very fine.
In movie.
Yes, he's very fine. He's not. He may not physically be in the.
That is all I have to ask.
Yes, if he's not, if you don't see him physically in the film, but he's doing very, very great. Okay, and then the other part of it is that honestly, it is just because those people they are looking for fame at all costs. So
I call it a movie hookup.
They are looking for fame at all costs. I have seen somebody who they gave a kissing scene in a film to do, and the lady said, "No, this scene does not need kissing. I don't need to kiss this man. I don't have to kiss my husband in my own house for something." They now told her that okay, she should leave the production. And they blacklisted her for that. These guys feast on what our young people want to see. They want to see people in nude. They cannot sit down and watch a film where they don't have nude girls. And the problem sometimes I also think that the ladies who accept this, that there was a time, even up to now, here it happens, that these ladies pay to be in the film.
So are you able to do anything about that? Plus the lyrics things he talks about.
Okay, the lyrics is in the purview of the National Broadcasting Commission, and they are doing their best. It's just that the enforcement capacity is very low. If you go to most stations, they write to them and tell them that this cannot be played on air. But our artists, because of the digital space, now they don't even have to bring it to a broadcast station again. They stream online, and then when they stream, people are able to download this music. So I think we are working on a protocol. It does not have to do with me, but I know that there's a protocol they are working on that they can bring down some of these, I heard one where the guy was promoting narcotics. Was in the lyrics from beginning to the end. That you need to take it.
Yes.
They were even using terms. No, I just heard and said, what does this guy want to achieve with this? And if you see, this is the music that people dance to at parties. So we may need to get to our DJs too to help us.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Your name?
Hello.
Yes. Welcome.
My name is Rosaline.
Welcome, Madam Rosaline. We have 30 seconds. Go ahead.
What I am saying about this film matter is that since where such things come to air, that is where Nigeria become corrupt. Number one, ritual. Number two, using gun, armed robbery, to kill this and that. Number three, naked. Number four, kissing. That kissing is not good at all. So later they will say children are not supposed to watch this world. This way is not good for children, it's not good for adults. Because adults will watch it. They can't, they don't even remember good. The only bad inside they will pick.
Okay.
So please, man in the studio, try any possible best to stop all those things.
Okay.
Those people that in stage, men will dress in suits, women will naked, they dance.
All right, thank you, ma.
All those things?
Thank you, ma.
Okay.
It is almost going. I mean, the time is running. So the reaction to this and the one about the dressing. Are you able to do anything, or is there somebody who regulates in quotes that too?
No, we don't actually regulate how they do the films, but we also believe that the respective producers associations, respective directors associations, the respective associations in the industry can handle that one themselves. This is about practice. We don't regulate practice. We just ensure that once you finish your content, you send to us. But we send some kind of advisory to the filmmaker, but because we're unable to send those advisories because they bypass us and they go. But by the time we start our regulation, if we see those kind of films, we'll send an advisory to the people to please help us, stop nudity in our films. If you do nudity, we restrict it from people to see. And what will you profit when we restrict your content? There's so much nudity that is going on.
It is weird.
So
this
much.
person says, I'm Paul from Iduimu. You see me. I love watching American movies because of what they do. If they are not talking about crime, they will act about the law of their defense. But here, in fact, I can't remember the last time I watched Nigerian movie because I have given up on it. No, don't give up. Okay, there is this bit about this 1 year. It's almost going. I'm talking about time. How would you say this year of this administration has treated the industry? I'm going to break it down now. I have how many? I'm going to make it 1 minute answer. How would you say this year has treated the industry?
Well, we must thank this administration first for creating a sole ministry for arts, culture, and creative economy. It has always been under information and culture, and we have always suffered because the attention is placed on information than on culture. But now we have a separate ministry. It's a very new ministry, so we cannot say, even though there is a very new ministry, our honorable minister has been doing her best to partner, to collaborate with people, to see how we can, move this creative sector, to put it on the global map. And she's doing everything, and with this appointment too, it's another great achievement. I'm not supposed to be saying that, but I want to think that it's a very great achievement to have people who understand the industry at there. So the next level now is to begin to deliver on the promises that, she has tried in the area of collaboration. She has tried in the area of mapping the industry, understanding the industry. This next year, this next level, which starts from tomorrow, is when we'll begin to say, okay, these are the deliverables and these are what we're being able to do for this administration when it comes to the entertainment industry.
I wish the way they did for the entertainment industry, that is how they did for some like that, where bands want to kill us. I won't say anything. Let's leave it like that. Now, the next one, the state governors, right? in their own regions and all? Have they been able to help the industry? I know in Delta State they're doing a lot.
In Edo State, they are doing fantastically well. The man has created an entertainment hub. He has studios with first-class equipment. They've set them up. Now they are encouraging filmmakers to come to Edo State to shoot. When you come, they'll give you accommodation, some level of accommodation, transportation. So you use the local talent. You don't have to bring talents from outside.
That's Same for Delta?
Same for Delta.
Just say Bendel State.
Well, Bendel State, okay. Same for Lagos. Lagos too, there's so much. They've given grants not too long ago to filmmakers to make films. They are improving on the entertainment centers that were built by Ambode when he was governor. And then they are setting up a film village in Okpei, where they did a groundbreaking ceremony and the rest. And once you have that film village, all this problem of shooting in town and area boys are disturbing you will be a thing of the past, because you are in your domain. You are where you can create anything. You can create even Obalende inside the film village, and shoot your films and go away. The state governors are doing, but they need to do much, much, much more. They need to support the effort of the federal government. And I understand that, very soon there will be a National Council on Arts, Culture and Creative Economy, where they will sit down and really say, okay, this is what the state can do for us, and this is what we can do from there. But we need more cinemas. We need more cinemas. Because if a Funke Akindele could have released her film, Tribe of Judah, in the 36 states of the Federation, the money will not be talking about 1.5 billion. We'll be talking about even getting up to trillion now, but we don't have spaces. I mean, this is a country of over 200 million people, and we are still talking about less than 200 cinema screens, and it's not good for our economy.
We have to wrap up, so I have to go. Thank you very much, DG, National Film and Video Censors Board.
Has been a full day here.
It's my brother. I'm sorry, doctor, but we've taken you. It's been worth it. Thank you very much. Last line. What would you like people to remember your time in this board for?
I came to a board, and I left a board that is responsive not only to itself, responsive to society, and also responsive to the stakeholders, as well as responsive to government that set it up.
Thank you very much. I had more calls coming in, but no. That's why I saved it till the 11:30. If not, the conversation would have been changed completely. I'd like to say a very big thank you to the DG, National Film and Video Censors Board, for the time he spent with us today, Dr. Shaibu Husseini, and for sure he's one that suits that position very well. And we believe that at the end of the day, when you're done, we all will say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. And somebody will also tell you that, I wish the one in power, I wish the one in other one behave like you. Finally, I said it. Finally, I said it. I said it.
It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, last line, your message, Nigeria as a whole.
Well,
this day.
I mean, let's keep hope alive. Let's keep hope alive. Let's be united as a country. We will achieve more when we are united. All these attempts to divide, no. Let's keep that apart, and let's believe that a better Nigeria is possible.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shaibu Hussein, for your time, and special shout out to all of you at Filmic. Wishing all of you May 29 the best of it, and all those of you celebrating their birthdays.
Yes, so my wife was yesterday.
Yes, so happy birthday, precious treasure. Wish happy birthday, Uzo.
Yeah, Uzo. Ozi Okoli.
Yes,
Ozi Okoli of Arise.
Yes,
TV.
all of you celebrated your birthdays. I wish you all the very, very best.
And Uzo Okpei.
Yes. Now
the cynist. Madman.
I hope you are not still carrying around Nigeria, still one place. Thank you all. Anyway, that was our private joke. I'm Cordelia Okpei. I wish you all the very best, and special thank you, Oba Shegs, for the support you've given. Shegun, the GM, has done well, and girls in the studio, thank you all very much for the work. I'll see you tomorrow, 7 a.m. Do join us for the papers and other things that follow. Bye-bye.